So Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to our webinar today on visa interviews for residency. This is the fifth webinar in a series of webinars that the APPNA Advocacy Committee is conducting throughout the year. We continue with our mission of promoting and advocating for various initiatives that are relevant to APPNA physicians, as well as helping and promoting assistance with issues relevant to young physicians. My name is Dr. Samina Qureshi, and I chair the APPNA Advocacy Committee. Today, it is our privilege to be joined by Dr. Muhammad Fateh Shahzad, who serves not only as a very valuable member of the committee, but as well as an advisor. So the primary format, before we begin today, I'd like to explain, is that this is going to be conducted as a question and answer session, primarily to help you, the attendees, ask very pertinent and relevant questions and take the benefit of our advisor, Dr. Fateh Shahzad. So after Fateh Shahzad completes his introduction, what we'll do is we'll ask you to either raise your hand as an attendee and I'll recognize you and you can, speak your question. Or if you prefer, you can write in your question in the chat section and I'll read it out. So with no further delay, Dr. Fateh Shahzad, the floor is yours.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum. I hope you all can hear me well. I welcome all the attendees, especially the match residents, and I welcome you all to the U.S. healthcare system and welcome to APPNA. Thank you, Dr. Samina Qureshi, for arranging this and other various webinars which have been done and some to follow next weekend. Most of you at this stage of J1 must have received statement of need from Ministry of Health, and you have done your other paperwork and in the process of either receiving DS 2019, which is a sponsorship form, which will be issued by ECFMG. Fortunately, this year, ECFMG is going to electronically mail DS 2019. Historically, what used to be DS 2019, which is issued by ECFMG, was mailed to the program secretary or coordinator. Then the program coordinator used to mail to the applicants. So it used to take 3 to 4 weeks, and you will have to arrange for the specialized courier services. And it was very messy and very complicated procedure. So I worked with the statement of department because this is Department of State document. Anything starts with DS is Department of State document. Initially, Department of State was not allowing electronic transfer of DS 2019. So 2 years ago, DS 2019 was transmitted to ECFMG electronically. And next year, it was transmitted to the program electronically, but international transfer was still not allowed. So I'm very glad this year, the Department of State has allowed DS 2019 to be electronically transmitted. So there is no chance of getting it lost, and you don't have to arrange for the specialized courier mail, and it will be saving 3 to 4 weeks of time. So that's a very good news. So once you receive DS 2019, you will pay the CV's fee. Once you have received for CV fee, you can start working on your DS 160, which is visa application for interview. And you will pay the visa application fee, which is, I think, is $180 or $190 this year. So after paying your fee, which can be done through the Allied Bank, or if you have a US bank credit card, you can pay, or somebody on your behalf can pay via using American bank credit card. Once you've paid that, then you can start making your appointments. Right now, I was with the US Embassy. They are making a J1 appointment, H1 appointment starting first week of April, which is now. And you will be able to get appointment within 7 to 10 days. If there is a delay means like more than after mid-May, then you can request emergency interview but do not request emergency interview 30 to 45 days from your joining day, which is most cases is July 1st. Sometime you can include start date from the day your program wants you to come, like, for orientation. So once you've done that, then you'll get your appointment and then you go for visa interview and just dress professionally. Documents you need to take will be 2 by 2 pictures, your passport, which should be validated at least 1 year from the day of you arrive to USA. You will take your contract, any correspondence from your program, email, welcome letter. You will take DS 2019. You can print your own, preferably color printer, and make few copies with you. Then you will take CV payment fee receipt that you have paid. Visa payment, you really don't need to take with you any receipt because that's the only way you can get visa appointment. So once you get visa appointment, that means the embassy knows that you have paid the fee. If you have a dependent going with you, your child or your spouse, then you will need the Nikah-nama, marriage certificate. You will need the Nadra family tree. You will need their other documents, like if they have any CNIC showing your name as a spouse. For children, birth certificate showing parents' name. That will be also proving not only that they're your children, but also that that person is your spouse. So there are other documents we will go through during question answer. This was just a brief introduction. Let's start question answers and I'll be glad to answer.
Okay, so again, as I mentioned, you can ask your question in the Q&A panel, or you can raise your hand and I'll recognize you, and then you can introduce yourself and state your question. So Dr. Fateh, the first question we have in the Q&A panel is, someone is asking, they have been to the US twice, once in 2024 and again in 2025 for several months, when they were doing observerships. They say they're, it says, my wife's visit visa was refused because of my long stays in the US. How to navigate this condition during my J1 visa interview?
So that's a very good question, and very few were denied their visa for the first time last year, but second time their visa was granted. But in other countries like India, Singapore, Nepal, there were few that who missed their residency because of this issue. Now, what you really need to do, looks like this particular person has maybe not a match during the last cycle. So you had last year, then this year. So one argument you have is that, I did not match in the 2025 cycle, and I had to have a new or fresh USCE, which is US clinical experience. So I did go. So second answer or argument will be that I was not familiar with this rule that I cannot stay longer than 6 months during my visit, because I-94, which is your record for the travel, does allow you to stay 180 days. So you can plead that I was following my I-94 record, and I did tell the visa officer during my interview that I'm going to stay this much period of time. If you did tell, do not just make it up because they have video recording. Or you can say that on my immigration, I informed the immigration officer that I'll be staying 3 months. But right now, I'm familiar with this rule and I will not violate in future. Now, you should have all the documents that what did you do. Like if you did observership, make sure you have their, where did you do, you can make a list that from this state to this state, I was in Missouri, from this state to this, I was in Illinois, and what did I do, with whom I did observership or elective, and how did I financially supported myself. It can be loan from your friends, family, anybody in US. As long as you did not work and earn money, you will be fine, because if you stay longer and you don't have a proof that how you supported, the visa officer automatically presume that you were working there and trying to make money and find a job.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Shazad. The second short question is, service fee will be paid at ECFMG/My Intel Health site. That's a question.
Yes.
Okay, that was good. So the answer is yes. Another question is, someone wants to know, do you have any idea or news about the Karachi embassy?
Right now, Karachi Embassy is not issuing a non-immigrant visa, and J1, H1 is considered non-immigrant visas. So keep checking it, and if you see that there are opening, you should get opening your interview appointment at Karachi. There is no specific restriction or there is no limitation that Islamabad is going to approve your visas or Karachi. They're both equally good. Most of you will get visa as well as you will get appointment. My understanding is, again, things, not in black and white, but my understanding is from next week, the Karachi will start issuing at least J1 and H1 visa appointments. Maybe not visitor visas, but J1, H1, especially for physicians. That's my understanding from the State Department as well as from the embassy.
Okay, thank you. So I think that was well addressed. We have someone who is raising their hand, so I'll let them speak. Amar, please speak. Ask your question, Amar. Unmute yourself.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Qureshi and Dr. Shazad. Thank you so much for taking the time and hosting this wonderful session. So my question is that those who have matched into prelim internal medicine programs, what should they write in date of departure from US in their DS-160 form? And my second question is that how should they address this during the interview? Like if the visa interviewer asks
I think I got your question.
Are you
I can
planning to
answer
leave the
if,
US, or what are your plans after this preliminary year? How should
Yes, I got your question. So
Can you hear
the
me?
first part
Okay.
will be in your DS-160. Your specific plan. Yes, you have specific plan that you're going to join your preliminary. Second question will be the joining date. You can put anything 30 days before your joining date that you can come to USA. And as I mentioned earlier, your joining date will be either July 1st or the day you are required to have joined the program for orientation. Usually, most of the program want you to be there by mid of the June. So you can put 14, 15, 16 June. You don't have to be there by that date, but this is just a preliminary planning. You can put any date in mid-June. About your duration, because preliminary position you will mark as 1 year. Now, most of the contracts for any residency are going to be 1 year, but in regular IM or psych or family practice, your training is 3 to 4 years. So you can put 3 to 4 years. If you plan to do fellowship, you can put 7 years or 8 years. Maximum J1 you can be there for 8 years. So you can put 3 years, 7 years, 8 years, does not matter. Your visa is going to be only for the validity of DS 2019, which is 1 year, because your contract is 1 year. Now, once your visa is expired and you're still in US, it's like the start of second year of your residency, you can still work, because by that time you will get new DS 2019 and you can continue to work up to 7 years as long as you have DS 2019 valid. You don't need to have a visa stamped every year. But if you travel and your visa is expired, then you will have to get your visa stamped from your home country. It used to be from neighboring country, but now they allow only from your home country of residence. So to repeat your question answers, yes, you can put the specific plan. Your duration for preliminary is going to be 1 year. I broadened the question and answered that for others, your duration can be 3 to 7 years. You can specify your plan that you want to do preliminary, but after preliminary, you want to try to get into a regular program, or you want to go into anesthesia, or you want to go into psych, or you want to go into neurology. And other who are in IM or family practice, you can say that my plan is to complete my training for internal medicine for 3 years. After that, I want to do fellowship in GI or cardiology. Again, you don't have to do it, but you can mention. And the duration you can mention up to 7 years. For regular, for IM, duration is going to be 1 year.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Fateh. Here's another question. Let me read it out verbatim. So they're saying, I've been in the US for the past year on J2. I did 2 observerships during this time. Apart from that, I was just taking care of the family as a wife with a child. Is it okay for my J1 CV to have a professional gap since I was not authorized to work in the US?
Yes, it's okay. You can say that I was dependent of J1, and the main purpose of dependent of J1 is emotional support. So you are supporting your spouse, that's perfectly all right. Yeah, unless you have EAD, you are not allowed to work anyways, so it is okay to have a gap.
Okay, thank you. And I'll read out one more and then we'll go to the raised hands. This question is, my program didn't initiate J1 application yet. I have heard it takes 4 to 6 weeks after submission of J1 application. So should I ask my program about it, or is it still early and I can wait for them to initiate?
Now it's time to request your program to start ASAP because it's already almost mid of April. So you have 6 weeks. So you need to start working on it.
Okay, so let's unmute Anusha Anwar. Please unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Qureshi and Dr. Shahzad, for this webinar. My question is, for the visa interview, do we have to carry our observership invitation letters and our step 3 dates or permits to the interview?
It's a preferred. There are some certain documents that absolutely you have to take, and we did mention those. And there are certain documents that you should take it. And this is the observership letter invitation. I recommend that you make a chronological list from the earlier and then the later your visits. When did you arrive? When did you leave? Or when you arrived there, where did you go first? And then under whom you did observership. And then there are letters or invitations, whichever you have. So that will be proof that you did go there and you did join that observership and you were not working there. Now, they might not ask it, but if they do ask that where did you do observership, and you say I did in Missouri, and then they say, okay, do you have any letter or any invitation, email, or the letter of recommendation from that provider, you should be able to produce. So this is good, especially for those who stayed longer than 4 months, because that's where you have to prove that you're actually doing observership or elective, you are not working there. So it's important you take those documents. Only thing you really don't need to take during J1 and H1 interview is your bank statement or any property documents, because you're coming here on paid job and that sees your proof that you will support from your salary. Same is with J2, your spouse will be sponsoring you, and you do not need any kind of property document or bank statement showing that you have this much money left, because your spouse will be sponsoring you.
Okay, thank you. So the
Thank
next
you, Dr.
question.
Shahzad.
Okay, thank you, Anusha. So the next question I'll read out is, I am currently in the US on H4 visa. Can I change my status while being in the USA? What's the process for that? And is there any associated extra fees like premium processing or anything?
Yes, H4 can convert to J1. You will have to do is, of course, same process. Your Department of Health will issue you statement of need. Your program will start your J1 process. Then you will get your DS 2019, pay the CV's fee. After that, you go to USCIS website, print I-539 form, and that is the change in category, a change in status. You will have to pay the fee. I think it's around $380. Then you can request premium processing, which will be done within 14 days. And that's a $2,804 extra. So you can do yourself, or you can ask an attorney to help you. It is doable. Usually after you have your DS 2019, it takes 2 weeks to get it done. You don't have to leave the country. Only part that is limiting in this process is you will not have a stamped visa. So whenever you travel to home country, you will have to have a new visa to re-enter, visa stamped on your passport. So this is doable, and if you don't want to travel, you can do change in category. And also, not only you, other people who are on B1 most likely can do a change in category. People on J2 which do not have 2-year home residency rule, if ECFMG does issue you DS 2019 without leaving US, you will be also able to do a change in category. Initially, only H1 was given the premium processing, but now J1 also have premium processing with a fee. So this is done within 2 weeks.
Okay, so here we have something about research. So someone is saying, Afra Zaid, I was on J2 research the past year. During that time, I did my observerships and also worked as a medical assistant on J2 EAD. Is it okay to tell them about these activities during my J1 visa interview?
Absolutely. Because, as EAD is employment authorization document, you can do observerships, which is non-paid, and you can do paid jobs too. So you can mention that, yes.
Okay, thank you for that good answer. So we have Saif Pakiza asking, does being in the U.S. currently on B1, B2 visa affect or delay the process of DS 2019 for J1 in any way?
Now, historically, ECFMG, like 2023, 2024, they were not issuing DS 2019 till you show a document which is I-94 that you have left the country. 2025 cycle, they did allow. Hopefully, we're expecting that they will allow you to stay and get your DS 2019. Again, this is their policy, and you will find out, or we will find out soon, that if they are going to issue DS 29. If they do issue, you're welcome to stay. And as long as you have documentation how you sponsor yourself financially, you should not have any problem, and you can apply for J1 change in category from B1 to J1. But if DS 2019 is not issued by ECFMG and ECFMG requires you to leave the country, then you will have to leave and get your visa stamped in your home country.
Okay, thank you. So let's take a question live from Alina Zaman Khan. If you would unmute yourself. Alina Zaman Khan.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for this. My question is that during the J1 visa interview, is there any difference for people like me? For example, I'm on H4 and I'll be traveling to Pakistan. So is there going to be a question regarding that and how to tackle it?
So definitely there will be a question that even in the DS 160, there's a question if you've been to US and if you have been issued another visa. So your answer is just be honest and be straightforward that yes, I was from this state to this state and my spouse sponsored me for H4. And if you worked, which, is again connected with EAD, which is difficult for H4 to get EAD, but it's possible if you were granted EAD and you mentioned that if you just supported your spouse, you will simply say that I was helping him out, doing work for home or cooking or social activities or just emotionally supporting my spouse. So just be straightforward. As long as you have a legal document to visit or you stay in USA, you need not to worry about, because H4 is a legal document. It allows you to stay in US for the duration of your primary visa holder validity. If H1 is valid, H4 will be valid. J1 is valid, J2 will be valid. Even if you did get a visa for 1 year and so you stayed 2-3 years, as long as your sponsor or your primary applicant status was valid, you're fine. You don't need to worry about.
All right. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you. So let's read out a question now. So Abira Amir is asking, my husband is on research scholar J1 visa in US, and he converted his visa status in the US and now converting into H1B physician visa there as well. Would that affect my own J1 physician visa acceptance here in Pakistan?
Not at all.
Okay, that was a quick answer. Very good. Another question on DS 160, what should we mention? Who will be sponsoring the trip? Ourselves, parents, program?
So now, because this is a paid position, you're going to be, if it is J1 applicant, you should put your sponsor as your employer. If it's J2, again, it's going to be employer of your spouse, and you can put your spouse name who will be employed and getting salaried and supporting him, herself, as well as a dependent. Now, I want to go back on the previous question. It was because it was a brief answer. Anything you have done which is legal, change in category, either you did it or your spouse did it or other family member did it, it's illegal. It's allowed change or allowed process. So as long as the process was done within validity and it was allowed process, you don't need to worry about. Like a lot of people get worried that, oh, my spouse did or I did stay there and I changed my category from B1 to J1 or B1 to H1. How it will affect in future. No, it's a legal process. You went through paperwork, you paid the fee, and the Department of State and USCIS allowed you to make this change. So there is no need to worry about.
Okay, very good. So here's a scenario that someone is saying. Ayman Sohail. So I studied in a medical school A for 10 months and left before giving any professional exams. I was able to join another medical school B later on, from which I completed my MBBS degree. While filling my DS 160 for B1, B2 visa, I somehow forgot to add my university A in the secondary education. My B1, B2 was accepted for 5 years. I went ahead and did my observerships. Now that I'm filling out my J1 visa DS 160, I want to add my prior history in University A. Will the discrepancy cause any issues? I want to be 100% transparent.
Yeah, so for the visa application, your 5-year the employment or 5-year activities are more than sufficient. So if you did not mention your B1 visa, there is really no need to mention about first medical school, because whenever there is a discrepancy in one visit application or one visa application, they might question you. Again, if they do question you, you can say it was a short period of time, I did stay there, but I did not like it for some reason, or it was geographical suitability issue, so I joined another medical school. As long as you are honest and you have a document to prove, those are the two things, that whatever you say, statement, you have some kind of documental proof and you're honest and there is a reason, there's a rationale behind that change, you will be fine. If you did not mention your B1, you don't have to mention in J1. But if you want to mention it, that's okay too, as long as you can explain, because discrepancy may be questioned during a visa interview. But again, it's not a crime if you did not mention. And if you want to mention now, you're free to do. If you don't, better not mention if you have not already submitted your DS 160 for J1.
Okay, so we have another question from Zishan. He's asking, for someone who recently got married, is FRC needed or only nikah nama and marriage certificate would be enough for the spouse?
It more you have, it's better to have your marriage. Unfortunately, each case of marriage is looked at as a doubt because some of our fellows have made those mistakes in the past that we are being questioned now. Like there are many cases people marry their sisters, they marry their very close maram rishtas, but they show that that is their spouse. So that's why more document you have to prove. The family tree nadra is one of the documents that they do respect the visa officer. If there is any change in their CNIC with your name on it, that will be also good, but not required absolutely. If their passport has your name as a husband, that will be helpful, but not absolutely required if they have not made that change. If there is change in name that they have taken your last name, that is also going to help if there is a document proving that they have changed the name. But again, absolutely not necessary because some ladies don't change their name, their last name. So more you have, it's better. So what I usually recommend, nikah nama, marriage certificate, some wedding pictures in printed form, not on your phone because you will not be allowed to take phone with you. And any kind of communication, if it was a relationship when you were away from country, you were in US, she was here, or vice versa, then you should take that kind of screenshots of communications. If you travel together, yeah, any proof that you can show, because each marriage or each statement we make in our DS 160 or during interview is judged as a false. So we have to prove that no, we are telling the truth. So pictures, only issue comes when your nikah was done online. So that's not acceptable for J1 or J2. So it should be in person nikah.
Okay, thank you. So here's another one. It's a very interesting question. I think it'll be quite a lot of long answer from you. What are some deal breaker questions visa interviewers use during the interview?
Okay, so when you go for interview, you're dressed professionally. You take all the documents which we have. I've shared the list on the group as well as it will be available. I have pinned that list. So you have all those documents. You go there. You ask, you just simply say visa officer. That good morning, officer. Don't call them sir or ma'am. Then you listen, you wait for their question. They might take time to read your application. They might look at your background. So if there is no question for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, don't get worried about. Just wait. Don't make faces. Don't look up, down. The body language is very, very important. That's the only thing they know about, visa interview, their body language. They might not know everything. They might not know all your documents. They might not know what observership is, what electives are, and what's J1 research, but they definitely know and they're trained for body language. So just look at, don't unnecessarily smile if they're not even looking at you. But if they start asking you question, then you kind of show that you're nodding your head that yes, you're understanding. You can have a brief smile. That's okay, but don't laugh on any question or answer, or even if they cut up with you. So be very, very professional. Now the question, they will say, it's a J1 visa, so they will ask you question about J1. How did you find this job? So your answer will be that I applied for match during the matching process. If you matched, if you got the job out of match, just be honest, be truthful. They know everything about the question they ask. So just remember, the question they ask, they know exact answer. So you should try to be brief as well as honest. So that will be your first question. Then they can say, they might ask about the program. Do you know about this program? At least you should know that if you visited that place in person anytime, you can say, I've visited that place in person and it's located in this city, this state. So something about the program they might ask. They might ask, even though it's obvious, they might ask who's paying for this trip. So you simply say that it's a paid job. I will get my salary, and then I'm going to sponsor myself and my spouse and my dependent. They might ask, okay, who's paying for your ticket? That will be questioned. You can say that I'm working as a medical officer. I have saved 5 lakh rupees or $2,000. That will be enough for me to pay my ticket. And of course, when you arrive here, you have to pay for your apartment. So you should have answered those questions. Whoever is paying, if your parents are paying, it's okay that don't say that my mother is helping. You can say, I borrowed money from my mother. Best thing is that you can say I'm working as a medical officer or working as a private clinic. I'm doing my any income that you're generating, but it's not enough. So my mother, my father, my sister, and it can be anybody, anywhere in the world. It can be in USA, it can be in Saudi Arabia, it can be in Pakistan, that my older brother was kind enough to let me borrow money so I can make arrangement for travel as well as pay my first lease or security for my apartment. So those will be your question about this. They might ask about your dependents if you have a dependent, that, who is she or he? How did you get to know each other? Where the marriage happened? Do you have any pictures? So they will ask question. And if you're J2, they will ask who will be paying for your travel. So it's going to be your spouse and their employer. You should also be prepared to ask question about your previous travel. What did you do? When did you do? How did you do sponsor yourself? So, and you should have proof of if you took money with you. So that will be, you say, I took $5,000 with me. From Pakistan, you cannot take more than 5,000 per visit. So you should be careful about saying more because that's illegal. Now, in US, you can bring 10,000 per visit, per person or per family. So if you're traveling alone, you can come without disclosing 10,000. You can carry more, but you have to disclose. But because Pakistan does not allow to carry 5,000 or more than 5,000 with you, so stay under 5,000. Now, if you might have got money from somewhere else, like your friend in US or your uncle aunt in US, so you should be very honest and say, my uncle who is a doctor or an engineer or taxi driver in New York, he or she was kind enough to let me borrow money. So use the word borrow because help is not considered good. You're a doctor. You should not be getting help from somebody. So borrow is a good word, and with intention that, soon enough I will return that money with thanks. So that shows that you are a responsible person. Other question they might ask is about your social media. So you have to be very careful. So keep all your social media public. And I usually recommend during visit visa, same with J1, that make a list of your social media URLs and print it on a piece of paper and give to the visa officer during interview. How it is important? Because your visa is going to go into administrative processing for social media vetting. Every visa, regardless, goes to administrative processing. So your administrative processing will be shortened if you provide that list of URLs on a piece of paper. That makes their life easier. And, making anybody's life easier helps you out.
Thank you so much. I think that's very valuable and addresses many of the questions already in the queue. So here's another one having to do with the current situation. So if we choose Karachi Embassy and if the interview got canceled, considering the current circumstances, can we switch to Islamabad for rescheduling appointment?
Okay, so if the embassy cancels your appointment, they will issue you a new appointment. And just wait for that. You will get an email that you're rescheduled on this date. Now, if you cancel that yourself for some reason, then it's a little bit tricky, and I usually do not recommend unless it's absolutely necessary. Then you have to actually fill a new DS-160. It used to be you can just change place from one to other. Now you have to fill new DS-160. Now your queue starts again from that day you submit your DS-160. Now, once you have new DS-160, your number will change on your visa visa appointment letter. So your previous visa appointment letter and your previous DS-160 confirmation page will be invalid. So now you do not have to carry those. You will have to carry new one. So again, your process will be delayed if you cancel, because now you have to do DS-160. Only good thing is that you do not have to pay a fee again, but you have to submit DS-160. So just wait, don't rush. Like I've seen people rushing I remember one case started from Jeddah to Riyadh to Karachi to Islamabad. So 4 jumps just for visa interview. Everything is recorded. They know when did you apply. So unless, there is a reason, which, in that case, there was a reason. It was COVID time and one embassy was closing, then the other was closing. So they accepted that change. But without any reason, just because you want to be here soon enough, it can be taken as a negative, that why you keep changing from this to this. You are supposed to be here by July 1st. Even second week of July, third week of July, end of July, those are all acceptable norms. So it does not mean that if you will miss your orientation, you will never know how your program works. It's if you get visa on time, you get here on time, it's very good. But if you don't get visa on time, or if you don't make it here on time, it's not any big deal. So don't make it big deal that my program is saying I need to be here. Program will wait for you 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. I'm not saying you should delay your process, but don't get panicky.
Okay, thank you. So here's another question from Mariam Kadwai. I mentioned in my DS-160 for B1, B2 that I'll be visiting my aunt, but due to some circumstances, I didn't go. Later on the same visa, I went for observerships. How do I justify that in my J1 interview now?
So it's very tricky that reason for your initial visa, what you mentioned in your DS-160, and I don't know whether you mentioned the same thing to the visa officer during interview or no. So if you mentioned to the visa interview that you are going to do observership, but initially you did put that you're going to visit, then it's okay. Now, even if when you arrive here, you told the immigration officer that initially your intent was to visit, but now I'm doing observership, then you'll be fine. If everything you said about you're visiting somebody, but you did observership, that can be questionable, but be ready to be asked question. And simply, sometimes ignorance is very big help. Say, I was not familiar with this situation. I thought I got visa, I can do observership, but I'm familiar with this now. I will not make this mistake again. And have proof of your financial support during that time. How did you spend money? Where did you get the money? And proof of what you did, observership. So you should have letters or invitation with you. But if you told the visa officer and immigration officer, but you mentioned something different on DS-160, that's not a big issue. But if all 3 level you said visit, but you did observership, that can be questioned, and you cannot lie. Just be truthful and hope for the best.
Okay, wonderful. Here's another question from Sayyid Momin Ali. He is saying that I matched into a categorical position, but my TPL has uploaded the contract on a J1 visa application, which mentions dates for only 1 year. Is that okay?
Yes, in US, each and every contract is 1 year. So even though your DS-160 will be 1 year, DS-2019 will be 1 year, because DS-2019 is based on your contract. Because your contract is 1 year, so your DS-2019, which is sponsorship from ECFMG, is going to be 1 year. And your visa will be 1 year. Those are the 3 things that you should know. Your contract 1 year, your DS-2019 valid for 1 year, and your visa is going to be valid from 1 year, the day from your interview. Not from the day July 1st. It will be, if you had mid-April interview, it will end next year, mid-April. So those are the determined things. So there's no question about that. Now, next year you will hopefully get a contract. Then you will get a new DS 2019 and you can continue to work on DS 2019. Now, meanwhile, while your visa is valid, suppose next year in mid-May or mid-April or mid-June, anytime before your your J1 visa stamp expires, you want to travel, you can come back to Pakistan or your home country and you can go back without having visa stamp. But if in 2027 or 2028 you want to visit when your visa stamp is expired, then you will need to have a new visa stamp just to re-enter. Remember, visa is not required to work. Visa is required for entry to USA. So valid visa is required to enter. But DS 2019, if it is valid, you're allowed to work. It's legal. And even if you stay here for 7 years without going back to your home country, having valid visa, your stay is legal. And then you can apply for waiver, you can apply for H1, you can apply for green card, you can become citizen while being in US without visiting your homeland. So as long as this thing is done the way I'm describing and you follow your program rules, you follow your DS 2019, you will be fine. And no criminal activity, of course. So you need not to worry about having only 1 year contract, only 1 year visa.
Okay. So we have another question from Rida. She's saying she stayed in the US for 8 months on a J2 visa. Will this stay have any impact on the approval of my own J1 visa, particularly in terms of home ties?
First of all, for J1 or J2, H1, you really don't need home ties because these are paid positions. So J2 is a legal visa. You went there and you stayed there. Now, that's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be with your spouse. So you did not do anything wrong. Now, if you had any paid work without EAD, then is an illegal activity. If you did not do anything gainful without EAD, means financial gain from an employer or from any place that you did not earn money without EAD, you're fine. If you worked without EAD, that's not fine, and that can be problematic for you. If you just stayed with your spouse, which is legal, and you're supposed to do that. Now the question is that what if you did not stay with your spouse? You got your J2, you did not stay with your spouse. Like you never traveled to US. Now what to do? Like you got your visa. So again, this is not anything negative as long as you can explain. Maybe your parents got sick. Maybe you had 1 year finishing your Pakistani residency. Maybe there was any other circumstances that you could not visit. Somebody got sick in the family. You got sick, you had an accident, you had a broken leg. So all those things are still, we're human. Things happen. So as long as you can explain why you did not travel, even though you had a visa, you will be fine. Now, only problem can be if you travel to US on J2, but you did not stay with your spouse in the same state, same address, that can be a problem. So just be careful for those who are going to travel with their spouses. You are supposed to stay on the same address and same state. If you get a job in a different state, do not accept that, even if you have EAD, because your main goal is social and emotional support of your spouse. So you cannot provide spouse staying 1,000 miles away from each other. So even if you get EAD, please stay in the same state, if not same city, and don't change your address. Keep your mailing address of your spouse or your J1 applicant.
Okay, thank you. And here's a question I think you somewhat addressed in a prior answer. Someone is asking, I opened a Bank of America account when I was in the US for my Step 3 and observerships. I had my family deposit money that I used for applications and living expenses from outside the country and borrowed some money from resident friends living in the US. How should I go about mentioning this to the visa officer if it's brought up, and what documents should I take to make sure I can assure them that the source of income wasn't from me working in the US?
So ideally speaking, you should have a letter from those people who did send you money. Like somebody outside US, again, that's a legal way to send money because it came from other country. So, but if you can get a letter from uncle, aunt, or family friend that I loaned him $100 or $500, the word should be loan, again, not help. Then it's okay. If you got money, again, it need to be significant amount. If somebody gave you $100, not a big deal. Somebody gave you $1,000, that you should have at least their names, where they are located, and some kind of proof. They sallied you, so if you have a screenshot or bank statement from your account and the donor account, so that should match, that A sent money to B, and it's showing up in bank statement of B as well as bank statement of A. So if you can get that done, that's perfect. If not, at least you should know their names and what's your relationship with them. If it is your family member, you should mention that. If it's a friend, just use the word, I borrowed money, or they were kind enough to let me borrow money. Be courteous and be kind of, like you are not just a burden on other people. Be responsible, be courteous to those who gave you money, and be honest. Now, the question comes in a couple of times that you were staying on B1 visa and you were working online somewhere, even outside country. Like you have a job, subscriber job, or you're giving tuition to students or other, ECFMG or USMLE aspirant. As long as your money did not come to US bank, you're still fine. You can generate money while being on B1 visit visa by doing online activity, as long as that money did not come to US bank account, your bank account. But if it did come to your bank account, then you should explain, and then you should be paying taxes on that. So that can be a tricky situation, that you earned money online and you received in US and you did not report to the IRS. That can be a problem. But if you borrowed money, so even if you earn money, then you should try to make it that you borrowed money from somebody. Because if you earn money on B1 from US, that's illegal. You will be banned for future visit to US or work in US. But if you earn money on B1 online working outside US, like your potential employer was outside US and you did receive money to US bank account, that can be problematic because you did not pay taxes on that. So that should be not mentioned. And if you borrowed money from anybody from anywhere in the world and came to your account, you should have a letter or some kind of email showing that he or she gave you money, this much amount from this account to this account, and then those bank statements should match.
Okay, thank you. Here's another question regarding funds. Aliza is asking, can my spouse leave the US after applying for an EAD and then re-enter once it is approved? He does not want to remain jobless during this period.
That's perfectly all right. Now, even if anybody gets J2, you still have 1 year to join your spouse. So even in May or June, you get J2, and your spouse already gone, you want to complete your job, and you or somebody on your behalf wants to apply for EAD, so you can travel back and forth, and then you can go, as long as you don't work in a different state of your spouse. In US, you're fine. And if you can't join for a year, that's fine also. Like if somebody J1 is 3 year, you got J2 first year, you did not travel, you can apply for J2 next end of the year. You still have 6 weeks of visa validation. You can travel after within 1 year of your visa issuing. You can travel to join your spouse.
Okay, so here's a question from Sayed Muhammad. I had applied for B1, B2 with letter of invitation from a medical center in Pittsburgh for November 2024, but I had the nikah in November and I traveled to the US in May 2025. How do I justify that if it comes up in my interview?
Can you read that question? It's a little bit dates.
Sure. Yeah, so it says, I had applied for B1, B2 with letter of invitation from UPMC Pittsburgh for November 2024, but I had my nikah in November and I traveled to the US in May 2025. How do I justify that if it comes up in my interview?
Yeah, it looks like this person most likely got multiple entry visa. As long as there was no annotation on your visa stamp that you need to do your observership from this state to this state or this place, you're fine. And it looks like you travel after 1 year, so you must have multiple entry visa. You did not do anything wrong. You'll be fine.
Okay, and here's a short question. Is it permissible to do observership on J2?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a good short answer. Someone said, I have been married. Ayman is saying, I have been married for 3 years, but I have been separated for 2 years. When filling in the DS-160, is it okay if I mention marital status as other, since there is no option for non-legal separation, and write informal separation since second year in the explanation section?
Before I go to that question, on the previous one, if you're doing observership, make sure you do in the same city, state. Don't go to do observership in another state. Because you will be mentioning in your next J1 that you were away from your spouse. So that's kind of be problematic. Now, if it's a legal separation, as long as you're not legally divorced, you should still write as a married.
Okay, so she shouldn't write informal separation since year 2. Okay.
She's still married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone else is saying, during my US visit, my initial plan was to complete 3 clinical rotations, which I communicated during my immigration interview. While I was in the US, I had the opportunity to extend my stay by undertaking an additional rotation and preparing for step 3. However, I remained mindful of my visa conditions and ensured that I departed the US and came 10 days back earlier. So how to address this during the interview?
I think this part has been addressed multiple times. As long as you have a proof of how financially you supported, and make a list where you did observership first and then second and third, which states, which city, which hospital, which preceptor, you should be fine, especially if there is no annotation on your visa stamp. Nowadays, they're putting annotation that you are going to do observership in this place, in this city and state. And then if you violate that, that can be problematic. But as long as you have a proof that what you did and how you sponsored yourself financially, you will be fine. And if you don't have an annotation and you did not stay longer than, in his case, 6 months, you will be fine. But ideally speaking, you should not stay, anybody should not stay more than 4 months during for observership, because the officer who is interviewing you for J1 is going to say that you need 3 clinical letters or 3 letter of recommendation. So that's 3 observership and maybe 1 month for step 3. So for future, people should stay not more than 4 years. But now you have done it. You be truthful, have proof. What did you do and how you financially supported yourself? You will be fine. Just be a little bit show that I was not aware of. I was following my I-94 travel record, which is 180 days, and I made sure that I came back before 180 days.
Okay, so here's a complex situation. So they're saying they have dual nationality. My residence is Pakistan and currently living in Pakistan, but my notarization was from Australian passport, and all my travels for observership were from Australian passport. So for that reason, I applied J1 on Australian passport as primary and Pakistan as secondary. Please tell me if I did a huge mistake. My SON and degree, everything is from Pakistan. Can I change this all?
No, I think as long as your legal status in Pakistan, our latest legal status is in Pakistan, you can apply from a different passport, which is Australian passport. If they do question why you did not go to the Australia and apply from there, your answer should be that you're staying in Pakistan from this state to this state, and you're working or whatever you're doing, and you have dual nationality, means you have Pakistani passport as well as Australian passport, but I'm applying from Australian passport. You can apply from either one, but you have not made any mistake by applying on Australian, because both Pakistan and Australia allows you to have dual nationality.
Okay, very good. And so here's someone asking, I have traveled thrice, 2 times for observerships, 4.5 months each, and then for a 3.5 week for an in-person IV, I think it means
Interview.
and second looks. Will this cause any problem? I followed exactly what I told the immigration officer and came on whatever my initial return date was.
Again, we have addressed that, and same answer, that as long as you have proof of financial support, financial income, or whoever sponsored you, where did you get the money and what did you do, make a list, chronological order, and be ready for this question. Be ready that your visa might be put on AP. Be ready that they might reject it because you stayed almost 10 months. So, but if even it's rejected, you reapply. So be prepared for all these possibilities.
Okay, so we're at the end of the hour. So Dr. Fateh, if you feel okay, would you like to continue?
Absolutely. It's going to take a long time.
Okay, all right, so let's continue. Here's another question, very brief, but I think very important. How long does ECFMG take to issue the DS-219 these days?
You can imagine there are like 8,000 applicants. So it's going to take time, but 3 to 4 weeks is good enough time.
Okay, good. Here's another one. They're asking, is it recommended to revisit every year when the DS 2019 expires, or stay back? Some programs will email you to stay back in certain political situations, which have been happening quite frequently with the pandemic and war.
As I mentioned earlier, as long as your DS 2019 is valid, which should be valid as long as you continue to get contract, you can stay without visiting your home country up to 7 years or even longer. If you go a waiver and you can get up to your passport. As long as your DS 2019 is valid, you can work and stay in US. But if you travel on expired visa, you will have to get re-stamped. So that will be filling up DS 160, going for visa interview, and then getting it stamped. Visa is just for re-entry. To work, DS 2019, valid DS 2019, and a contract is good enough.
Okay, thank you. So here's another one. Is it better, Umair is asking, is it better to take your J1, J2 interview together, or should we go separately?
It's always better because now you're both there. If you have a dependent child, you should take, that's another proof that you're married. So going together is good. It's not going to hurt, but for some reason, if he or she, which is J2, cannot travel cannot go for a visa interview at this time, she or he can go later. But if you can travel to the embassy together and have a joint or group interview or family interview, get it done same day, same time, and that is much, much better. Just think about, here's the spouse, here's the primary applicant, and they're both there. So if the officer has any question, can ask both of you. They can ask you to come to a special room, let's have an interview together. So your picture will match with each other, your statement will match with each other, then guarantee for your both visa, especially J2, is going to be there. But if you travel separately, but you got your visa, that's also okay. Don't have to travel. J2 does not have to travel for 1 year. You got, 1 year time to travel. But if your J2 visa expires, then the J2 will need a new visa. But as long as there is a reason not to travel, you still can get J2 next year or third year or fourth year. Having interview together helpful, traveling together helpful, but on the other side, not having interview together, not as good, but still okay. Not traveling together, still okay.
Okay, thank you. So here's a question, and I recommend everyone please put your questions in the Q&A section. It's easier to manage, and we close them as we address them. So here's Ali asking, I have a family, 2 children. Can having 3 dependents impact the J2 visa, as usually the pay of a resident to support 2 children can be difficult?
So it's legally, you can have as many dependent as possible. They're not going to discriminate because you have 2 children or 3 children, 4 children. It's legal. It's your right to have children and you're dependent, as long as you approve their their birth certificate and other documents to prove J2 dependency. You're good enough to travel and for visa interview all together. And I will recommend you should travel together, have visa interview together. Now, the second part is that if they're going to ask you question, how are you going to afford? So if your spouse is traveling with you and getting interview, and so you can simply say my wife or my husband is going to be with me, and that he or she will take care of the child while I'll be working. So that will help us not to pay child care. So that's one question. Second is that my spouse will get employment authorization. There's nothing wrong telling the visa officer that my spouse will be working in US, as long as you fulfill the legal duties of EAD, you will be good, and then that will help me financially. But remember, just child care, which is daycare, can be more costly than your spouse can earn. So having your spouse present, they are emotionally supporting you, as well as taking care of the children, sending them school or watching them while you're at work, that is a big help. So it's not any negative impact, it's a positive impact.
Okay, thank you. And here's something somewhat related. Someone's asking, I will be applying for a J1 visa, but I have no intention of taking my husband with me on J2. So can they ask me during the interview why he's not going with you?
So just be truthful. I'm sure that he has a job or he has other responsibility. He can have elderly parent. So just simply don't say that I don't want to take my spouse with me. Simply say that he or she will join later. Because the visa officers say that if he is not going, then why should I issue visa? So be careful. What you said in your question, don't make the same statement in front of the visa officer that I have no intention to take my husband to US. Then there is no need for him to have a visa. So first of all, there is really no need to mention that to visa officer. As I said, he will have 1 year to travel to you. So why to mention, why to create another question or doubt? Simply say that we're planning to travel together, planning to stay together for emotional support. Just think why there's a J1 and J2. J2 is for your emotional support. So if the spouse is going to stay in Pakistan, why visa officer should issue him or her a visa? So be careful when you say that I have no plan to take my spouse with me, but I want him or her to have a visa. There is no reason for him or her to have a visa.
Okay, very good. Here's a short one here. I think it's relevant to a lot of people. Are all visas going to be subjected to administrative processing, even if the social media is public and clean?
Yes.
Okay.
So make a list of your URLs, keep your social media public, actually till you come to USA. So once you enter, then you can make it private, but keep it public and make a list and give that list to the visa officer during interview. That will shorten your AP duration.
Okay, so someone on the line, Abdul Hassan, if you have a question, I can unmute you. If you're ready, raise your hand. Let me see if he's ready. Abdul Hasib. Okay, go ahead.
Unmute. Hasib, you're muted.
Hello, everyone. I do not have a question to.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so here's another question I'll read. It's from Zaira. My husband's visa went into administrative processing twice, most likely because he had his course PhD in a sensitive field like robotics. The first time he came for J1 renewal, and went into administrative processing for 1.5 years. Later, he switched his funding and course, now mathematics. His visa type changed to F1. This time his visa went into administrative processing for 6 months, but then it was issued. I was also issued F2 at this time. I stayed in the US as F2 dependent for 2 years. Can this history be a risk for going into administrative processing, and how to avoid that?
You can't avoid administrative processing. Most likely, his case will go to administrative processing because it has been processed twice, and second time he was granted visa. So most likely the administrative processing will be brief, but at least 6 weeks. So just be prepared that most likely the visa will go into AP, but the duration for the administrative processing will be shorter.
Okay, thank you. So here's someone asking about—
And just want to add that all those, not for the social media vetting, if there is a delay in administrative processing more than 1 week, you should let us know, the APPNA, and we will share the links how to inform us. But as I said earlier, each and every visa will be going in AP, so don't get panic and start calling and sending us emails, because that means 1,200 emails. So if your process is not completed 1 week, which should be 5 business days, then you should let us know.
Okay. Here's someone who's saying that their parents are in the US on a F4 visa. My visa was rejected at that time. Will I be asked questions about this during the J1 visa interview, and how should I answer?
Sure, like you will even answer on your DS-160, that will be question if have you ever been refused visa or entry, so you should be truthful. And when the visa officer most likely will ask that if your visa was denied, they're not going to ask why, but if they ask why, that's simply say that I did appear for visa interview, I was not able to convince the visa officer about my home ties, and I was denied, because usually they don't give you a reason to deny visa, and you should tell the same thing, that most likely I was not able to satisfy the visa officer during my interview and it was denied. Again, due to age, due to other reasons, visas can be denied. Similarly, people do ask me questions and they have not asked, so I will add that if somebody applied immigration petition for you or your parents, like your aunt, uncle might have done immigration petition for your parents, and then your name was included because you were less than 21-year-old age. So in that case, if it's you're already aged out, I'm sure everybody of you is more than 21. So you have been aged out, your case has been, your name has been excluded. So you should simply say that, yes, my aunt did apply for my mother, my father, my name was included as a dependent child, but I have aged out. So if they do ask question in DS-160, you should mention that even you've been aged out, you should mention that somebody did apply on your behalf. You did not apply, but somebody did apply for your parents and your name was included. So you did actually, somebody did apply for you. As long as your name was included, you should say yes. If your name was not included and you're sure about it, then you should say no.
Okay. And here's a quick question from Ajia. She has not been to the US before, and my B1, B2 visa has been rejected a couple of times. What should I do to make sure I get my visa?
Again, B1, B2, and J1, H1 visa are different category. Now your chances of getting your J1 is significantly higher than your B1. So just be truthful, do very well on your visa interview, follow the directions we're giving you step by step. You should not have any problem. As long as your social media is clean, as long as you have your contract, you do very well on your visa interview, you should get your visa.
Okay, here's a question that just relevant to what you just said. So Eamon is asking, what does cleaning social media mean? What should I add WhatsApp in my other social apps section?
Now, I'll give some examples so that will clarify you all. Again, that might not apply to everybody because, those scenarios were mostly for B1. Like one of the Pakistani doctor was denied entry to US. So he did travel from Islamabad to Abu Dhabi, not Abu, to Qatar, Doha, and then to, I guess it was New York. So he was asked to have a secondary check. So when you arrive to immigration, they will ask you questions, and then they can briefly detain you for secondary questioning. So he was asked to have a secondary questioning. They take you to a different room. But please do not get panic. As long as you've done nothing wrong, you will be fine. And maximum they can say, okay, you're not allowed to enter. They're not going to arrest you. They're not going to punish you. They're not going to physically beat you up. So don't get panicky, because when you panic, then your body language will show that you have something wrong. So just be calm and just answer the questions. Don't be offended if they ask you a question which you might think not related to you. They might ask you a question that might offend you, very personal questions. So just be calm, be quiet, and answer question. Don't say I don't know. Try to answer questions in your best capability. Now, there might be certain things that you might not know. Then you simply say that I'm not familiar with that person. I never met that person. I did not join that organization. So something you have not done it, you should say, definitely you have not done that. But if you have any doubts, and say, I'm not clear about it. Just don't completely ignore that question, and don't simply say yes and no. Give a little bit answer. Now, this person who was denied entry, he was a part of a WhatsApp group where people were asking questions. So for somehow they created a group who did receive visa to US, and he joined that group. And over in that group, people were asking question how to find job in USA. So even though he did not ask that question, but he was part of that group. So I actually did ask Department of Homeland Security about his case, that why he was denied when he did not even ask that question. So the response was he has access to the answers, that how to find a job. So be careful, Now again, you have a job, J1, H1, you have a job. Hopefully you will not be having that scrutiny, but that I gave you an example. Now about social media, that can be your Twitter account, your Instagram, Facebook. Now it does not have to be your post. Somebody can post on your Facebook page, which is objectionable. Now, one of the visa officer gave a list what objectionable means. Anything against the president, anything against the president policies, anything against American policies, anything threatening, anything in favor of any banned organization. And you should have a list of banned organizations by going on Department of State website. So those are the things. Anything with the picture with somebody who is not liked by US. So now again, it might be our emotional attachment with Palestinians, Gaza, but we have to understand what the US policy is. So anything against Israel is not liked in USA. Again, you can have your emotional attachment to being somebody victim, but you're coming to USA. You should understand what your host country likes, what their policies are. You don't have to be agreeable to those policies, but you don't have to publicly denounce those policies. So just be careful. No one posts on your Facebook page. And if there is objectionable post, just delete it. But if you post something very objectionable, like, threatening the president of USA or threatening that I will come and, blow up the hospital or, something like that. That's obviously very, very objectionable, and you should be assured you will not get visa if you have such statement. I give example of a person who had J1 denied second year, not first year, second year. And he contacted me that my visa went to AP and I'm waiting, I need to go back to my second year. So I looked at his Facebook page. He had two Kalashnikov in his hands on his DP, like he's holding two Kalashnikovs. And why to put a picture like that? So just be mindful that what is acceptable and what matches with the US foreign policy. You can have a reasonable disagreement, but no threats, no obvious disagreement, and nothing too serious about or against I call anti-Semitism.
Okay, so we have a live question. I'll unmute the person. Hassan, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Hassan?
Hi.
Hello, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Thank you for doing this. I had a question regarding getting an EAD on a J2 visa. Like, if you could share some process or some timeline which we should be aware of. And to follow up, you also mentioned that you can't, on a J2 visa, you can't work in a different state. But what if you're working in a different state but living in the same state, such as the case of New Jersey and New York? If you could share any information regarding that. Thank you.
So EAD is a separate process. When you arrive, you will your spouse J1 will notify the program will notify ECFMG. Then the person J1 will get kind of certification or proof that that person has arrived in USA. That person I-94 will be updated. Then I-94 and your DS 2019, again I'm talking about the J1, that person will go to local social security office, social security number will be issued. After that, the J2 can apply for EAD, which might take some time. Again, in US there is always a premium processing for each process with additional fee. And once you have EAD, then you are allowed to work and get paid. Now, your second part of your question was neighboring states. As long as I think there is 30 some miles, and as long as you come back and stay with that person, you don't change your mailing address, you will be fine.
Okay. And here's a very brief question from Fatima. She said, I opened a bank account in the US during my visit. Will it cause any problems?
No problem, as long as you did not receive any income. There's a difference between money and income. So you did not earn and receive to that bank account, you will be fine. If you receive money from a family friend, family member, and you have a proof who gave it to you and bank statements of the sender and recipient, you will be fine. But if you had only $1,000 you took with you, open your account, and the account is still active, that's fine. You don't need any proof that somebody sent you money. As long as money did not come to your account from another person, you took money with you and you deposited it, and your account is still active, that's perfectly all right.
Okay, so here's Kashaf. She's asking, I am planning to perform Hajj this year, inshallah. I will be leaving on 17th May and returning 9th June. I'm currently awaiting my SON and the next step in the process. Could you advise whether I should select the Karachi or Islamabad embassy for my appointment? I would like to secure an appointment before departing for Hajj.
So again, my understanding is from second week of April, we should be able to getting at least, when I say we, means J1 and H1 and J2 and H4 should be getting appointment in Karachi. But again, your schedule is very tight. Wherever you can get before 19th, just remember that your visa might go into AP, means that you might not have your passport with you to travel for Hajj. So you have to be very careful. So try to get end of April your visa appointment, but you have not done your SON, so I'm not sure if your whole thing will match up with the dates. Means you have not done your SON, you don't have your DS 2019 yet, so it seems like very tight schedule. So you might have to just in case you don't get a visa appointment by at least 10 days before you travel for Hajj, then try to do it after you come back from Hajj.
Thank you. Here's another one. Someone is
One more thing to add. Just in case you go for interview, your visa goes AP, and you have to travel for Hajj, you can ask the embassy to return your passport. Even during the visa interview, you can, if the officer say, I'm keeping your passport, your case goes into AP. If they say for social media vetting, that means you will get your visa and passport for within 3 to 4 days. Then let them keep your passport. But if after 1 week you don't get your passport, your AP is not clear, you can request your passport to be mailed to or to be picked up from a pickup location. It will slow your AP process, but you can at least travel for Hajj. Once you come back or once your AP is cleared, embassy will send you an email that you drop off your passport at pickup location, or you mail it to the embassy, and then your visa will be stamped, and then you can pick up your passport. So now the problem is that if you're in Saudi Arabia and you cannot send your passport to embassy within certain time, then it can be a problem, because they will give you a date, by this date you need to submit your passport.
Okay, so here's someone, they're thanking you, Dr. Shahzad, for very valuable information.
So thank you too. You're the one who arranged it.
So someone is saying, I've been in the USA since last year on J2 and had an EAD as well. For 2 to 3 weeks, I tried doing DoorDash because I was bored at home. If during the interview they ask about any employment after EAD, should I mention it or not, as it was a very short period?
Even for 1 day, you should mention that. It's a legal activity. Why not?
Yeah. Okay. Good. And so someone else is asking, during my B1, B2 visa, I had mentioned I will be rotating at Hospital A in January 2024. However, I ended up rotating at a different site and went in April 2025 instead. If asked, I will be honest, but wanted to ask, could this be a potential problem?
If you have a multiple entry visa, or if you do not have annotation in your visa stamp, you will be fine. And you should give an explanation. Maybe the preceptor was not accepting you as an observer. Something happened, some emergency happened with you or with the program. As long as you have documented proof that you might have a letter from the preceptor that I'm not able to take you as an observer, take it with you. If for some emergency happened with you and you could not travel on time, you should have explanation. As long as you're honest and you have documented proof, you will be fine, especially if there is no annotation on your visa stamp.
Okay, good. So another short question here. Someone is saying, I extended my stay in the U.S. just for 4 days. My total stay in the U.S. was 3 months and 10 days. If they ask, how should I explain?
Not a problem. It's still less than 4 months.
Okay, good. Zishan is asking, can my spouse on a J2 do 2 to 3 months of observership in a different state, or is it not recommended?
I usually do not recommend.
Okay, perfect. So here's another one.
If you have to do it, just don't change your mailing addresses.
Okay, another more appreciation for you, Dr. Fateh. Someone is saying, what documents should be carried on interview day? If I have been living in the U.S. for 2 years on J2 visa, now I am applying for my own J1.
So of course, your previous passport and copies of the visa, if you have changed your passport, but if you have the same passport, you should have your DS 2019 copies of the old ones, old copies of the passport, but if they are on the same passport, they can look at. If you have EAD, then you should take those documents. If you file taxes with your spouse, take copies of the 1040 or your tax document. Anything to prove that you did stay there and you stayed with your spouse, it is good. And for your new J1, you will have your new DS 2019, your visa appointment letter, your DS 160 confirmation page, your pictures. If you have done any fingerprinting, that you should take it. Your valid passport, you'll take it. CV's fee receipt, you will take it. Contract, you will take it. Those are the things. And even though it's your own J1, you should take a copy of Nikah Nama and marriage certificate just in case they ask you about J2, previous J2.
Okay, so I think I'm becoming an expert too, Dr. Shazad, by listening to all your answers. Some of these are so easy for me to answer now. So here's something from Sayeda Hafza. She's saying, if I went to the US for a month to attend in-person open houses, do I mention this in the J1 CV?
Yes, that was your travel.
Okay, good. Hassan is asking, if I understand, on a J2 visa, you're not allowed to be in a different state from your spouse, but are you allowed to work in a different state but live together, like New Jersey, live in New Jersey and work in New York?
I will let you answer that question.
Are you allowed to work in a different state but live? I think you can if it's commutable.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, good. So I'm an expert too now. So I don't claim to be. Here's a question from Said Fatma. She's raising her hand. So I'll unmute you and then you can ask your question. Go ahead.
Hi. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I have a question. I'll be on a J2 visa. I'll be her dependent. I want to ask, can I work remotely or run a business remotely? And also be able to travel freely outside of US and come back to the US multiple times a year?
Yes. As long as your mailing address is there, you spend most of the time at the same address, you will be fine. When I say most of the time, will be if you're staying in US like 8 months out of 12 months. But if you travel to Pakistan, again, if you have a reason to travel, it's kind of not 100% restricted that you can't travel. You can, for business travel or for family emergencies or to attend any function, or you have your own something to do in Pakistan, you can travel. But I recommend at least stay with your spouse 8 months out of 12 months cycle.
Okay. Thank you. So here's a question live from Zaima Mansoor. So please unmute yourself. Zaima Mansoor.
Hello, Dr. Shazad. How are you? Thank you so much for this wonderful session. I have just one question that in my DS 160 last year when I was traveling, I mentioned that I will be there for the month of June and July, but I got an observership opportunity in May as well. So I traveled early and my total stay extended my total stay was around 5.5 months. And later on, I got to know that I was not supposed to do that. But now, since it's the extended stay, and you have mentioned it several times in different platforms that we are not supposed to stay longer than what we have mentioned in DS 160. So now, how should I cover up this, or how should I explain that? Should I just tell them that my plans change, or what do you think? What do you think about it? Thank
Yes,
you.
and do you have a multiple entry visa or single entry?
It was a multiple entry exit for 5 years.
So you did not have annotation. You will be fine as long as you can have financial support statement or proof, and you have a reason why you stayed there, and you have proof of that, like you did step 3 or you did observership. You will be fine, especially multiple entry visa without annotation. But for future, as you already have done it, you can change it. You just be honest and have some documentation if they ask you about your longer stay. And you can show that you took the money with you or somebody let you borrow money and you did not earn, you will be fine.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Here's a guest. Please introduce yourself first. Please go ahead. They're coming in as guest.
Hi, so my name is Iman and I do have a question. I am currently in US on a dependent visa on F2 and I do want to change my status here for J1. And I asked my program coordinator and they sent me a letter. Should I go with the change of status while being in US or is it advisable to travel back to Pakistan given the situation and book an appointment over there?
You have both options. If DS 2019 is issued to you by ECFMG, you can do change in category, or you can go back to Pakistan, both options. But if they don't issue you till you leave the country, then you have only one option to go back to Pakistan. I usually recommend people to go back to Pakistan and get a visa stamped because God forbidden you have a family emergency, you can travel and you can come back without worrying about not getting visa stamped. So right now you have plenty of time and it's a good time to get visa stamped from Pakistan. Most of visas will be approved and it's good. But for some reason you can't travel, you have both options. But your options will be restricted if ECFMG does not issue you DS 2019 till you show them a proof of exit from USA.
So they did send me a letter to show the USCIS that I do want to change my status. Still, I did not get my 2019. My application is in process, but I didn't get that 2019. So should I wait for that now?
Yes, you have to wait for that. Without that, you can't start your change in status because you have to have something to change to. So that will be J1. So sponsorship for J1 is DS 2019. So till you get DS 2019, you can start the process of change in category.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I got your answer.
Okay, so let's go to the next person. Zishan, please introduce yourself and go ahead.
Hello, Dr. Shazad. Thank you so much for hosting this. I wanted to ask you a question that last year I opened my bank account in the US and I borrowed money from 2 to 3 of my friends during my stay. And you said it's fine as long as you borrow and have bank statements. Do I also need to get bank statements from my friends because they might be a little bit reluctant to give it to me and I can just show the screenshots of them sending me and I have my bank statement that shows they sent it to me? Or should I get it from them as well?
It's better that, you know, if they give you bank statement or just a proof, like if they zally you or they send you a check, maybe they can print a copy of check that they send it to you. Again, it's not absolutely necessary. Your bank state is in your control, but their bank statement they might not share with you. But if they can, that will be fine. And if they can send you an email that they did send you a check or transferred $1,000 to your account as a loan, that statement or email will be good enough too. As long as it has some kind of check number or copy of the check and your account number, your name, you will be fine.
All right, thank you. And for borrowing, you do not need to pay any tax, right? If my friend sent it to me.
No, borrowing, you don't have to pay taxes. Taxes only on the income. And sometime if they ask you that, you know, in US, there's nothing interest free. So if you say that, you know, you borrowed money, then they might say, do you have a contract? You can simply say that it was interest free loan. He's a very close friend of mine, and I'm going to pay him back as soon as I start earning. And for small amount, they might not ask. If it's $20,000-$30,000, then sometimes they ask you a written contract and how much interest and all that stuff. But if it is small amount, $1,000, $2,000, your statement should be interest-free loan, so then they will not ask you for a contract.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, so let's give the opportunity to the next person. Arun, go ahead, unmute yourself.
Hello there, Dr. Shazad and Dr. Qureshi. First of all, thank you for organizing this. And I am sorry I have asked this question in the chat box, but I'm sorry for being impatient. My question is that I am applying for change of status from the US. So in that case, do I have to keep my social media public? Will it be helpful, or should I not do that? Thank you.
That social media public is only if you're going for visa interview and getting visa stamped.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so let's do a few from the Q&A. So someone is asking, Hassan is asking, Dr. Shazad, I'm working as a second-year resident in internal medicine back home in Pakistan. Does this raise a red flag during my J1 interview? How do I tackle if asked about restarting residency in US?
So first of all, it's not a red flag. Second, that you simply say that I did start my residency. US has the best healthcare system. I would love to have a training in US, so I quit doing my training in Pakistan, and I'm going to start in USA. There's nothing wrong if you did not complete your training in Pakistan. Just simply say it's a better opportunity, and I'm going for that.
Okay, so here's one from Zaira. She said, I did observerships on F2 in 2 different states, but just stayed in those city states for observerships. All other time I stayed with my husband who is on F1. Is it legal to do so? If not, how do I explain?
It's illegal. It's not employment. So you did observership, which is unpaid. You're fine. You should mention if they question you, and you will be fine.
Okay, so here's someone who's living in the UK. So they are saying, I'm living in the UK on a graduate visa after my MPH. I have a right to live here until February 2027. So is it advisable to apply for the visa from here or from Pakistan? I also have a newborn who does not have any visa status here, as she's only 2 months old, born in the UK. I've applied for her Pakistani passport. Do I need to apply for her UK visa here, or we can directly apply for J2 from UK? So it's a multi-pronged question.
Yes, and I think she contacted me directly too a few weeks back. As long as you are staying on a work visa or any legal status in any country, you can apply from visa from that country. If you're on visitor visa, then you should go back to your home country. That's a general rule. Now the question is, the issue is with the 2-month-old child who does not have a passport. So without passport, that child cannot have a visa stamped. So if that child can have a Pakistani passport, yes, the child can get a J2 from UK. 5-year-old can get, as long as they have passports, they can apply with the primary applicant from UK. Now, if the 2-month-old does not have a passport, either UK, which, if I remember correctly, does not have any document, they don't issue a passport for 2 years at least. But Pakistani passport can be issued to that child. Then they can get a visa on the passport.
Okay, so here's a question from
our spouse, and the child can stay in UK and she can travel to USA on J1.
Okay, so here's someone who is a little worried. I got a letter of subway violation ticket in the New York subway. I'm worried if it's going to affect my J1.
No, it's traffic tickets are not criminal activity. As long as there is no felony committed, or felony can be of any degree, 1st degree, 2nd degree, 3rd degree, you are fine. Traffic violation or violation tickets are not a felony. So if they do ask you a question, you should answer it, but it's not going to affect your J1 or B1 visa.
Okay, so before I go any further, I just want to let the audience know that we are 1 hour and 45 minutes into our session. So we're going to conclude in another 15 minutes at noon So to give Dr. Fateh Shahzad some rest after 2 hours of nonstop question answering. So we'll go for another 15 minutes. And now I think I will let, there's a few people with their hands raised. Sayda Alicia Zera, please unmute yourself. Ask your question, Sayda.
Hello, Dr. Shahzad and Dr. Qureshi. It's thank you so much for your time and for being here. So something that I'm worried about is that my husband, he recently had an F1 rejection, and I want to know how should we tackle this question if it's being asked in the interview.
Just be truthful that your family did apply for that and it was rejected. And if your name was included, then you should say, and you should mention in DS160. But if your name was not included, your family got rejected, you don't need to worry about it. You don't have to mention that. Nobody will ask you a question. As long as your name is there, you should answer in the DS160 and you should be prepared for a question. If your name was not included, only your family was denied or other family member, then you don't need to worry about. But again,
So this is for, yeah.
It is not going to affect your J1.
Thank you so much for answering. So this is for my husband. He will be on my application as J2 when we will be on interviewing together. And he had an F1 rejection basically. So
that's okay. Yeah. One category rejection does not mean the other category will be rejected. This is going to be F1. Most likely he was applying for a student visa. So student visas are hard to get. Visit visas are hard to get. But J1, J2 are different categories, should not have any problem.
Okay, so let's go to one other person. Zishan Heather, please ask your question. Unmute yourself.
Hi, good morning, Dr. Qureshi and Dr. Shahzad. Thank you so much for arranging this session. I have one question I asked in chat box, but unfortunately it went unnoticed. So my question is, during my US visit, I received money from my dad's friend, and we returned him in Pakistan in PKR. And I received money in cash. That's the tricky part. I received from him in cash, but for major payments like ERAS application, Step 3, and ECFMG certification, I use his credit card for the payment. So what should be my answer during my interview if they ask me like from where I was receiving the money?
I missed the initial part. Who sent you the money?
So I received money from my dad's friend and we returned him in Pakistan in Pakistani rupees. But the tricky part was I received the cash money from him and deposit in my bank account directly. But for major payments like ERAS application, for ECFMG certification, I use his credit card for all kind of major payments, even for booking, like APPNA.
So this money was deposited in Pakistani bank account?
No, like I deposited in my US bank account, but I have closed that bank account when I left the US. So that was also a tricky part.
And how much cash did you deposit?
For like one time I deposited $2,000. One time I deposited $1,500. And I think so he sent me $1,500 by Zelle. So like these are 3-4 transactions. I can't really remember all of them because I visited twice, last year and this year, so I can't remember all of those transactions.
Sure. As long as there's a proof that he sent you, is your father, so he should be able to share his bank statement, even if it's sent from another country. And he can write a letter that he sent you this amount on this date to this account number. You'll be fine. No need to worry about.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, and just to sort of address Zishan's comment, we have over 90 questions in the QA panel. So likely we may not be able to get to all of them, but seeing the demand here and with Dr. Fateh Shahzad's agreement and availability, we can repeat such sessions throughout the year. So, as we have different questions, different things of burning importance, we can certainly set up additional sessions. So with 10 minutes remaining,
now,
I'll try my best.
Can we print those questions that we can share with answer on the group? if we can print those.
Yeah, we have a recording of this, so what I'll try to do is access these questions and get to them in different ways. Yeah.
So what I will do, I will answer those questions on the group. Most of them are on the group, so they will get their answers.
Excellent. All right. So don't stress if we don't get to your question. We're trying our best, but there's just the volume is so much. Okay, so here's another question from Ali Zaman. So again, he's thanking you for your time. A person on J1 and dependents on J2, if don't travel out of the US, do they need to renew J1 while in the US, or it's just when you visit outside the US?
I will let you answer that question, Dr. Sabina.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. I just read the question. Go ahead, Dr. Fateh Shahzad.
Okay, so for J1, as I mentioned, the J1 is the visa is required for the entry, not to work. So if your J1 visa expires while you are in USA, you can still work as long as you have DS 2019 valid. Now, DS 2019 is going to be to J1 as well as J2. So they can stay both J1, J2, even on expired visa, as long as they have DS 2019 every year. So you can stay 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5, 6, 7, or as long as the primary applicant J1 and secondary applicant J2 have their valid DS 2019. As long as EAD is there for J2, you can also work. Now, if your visa is expired and you travel outside US, then you will need to restamp your visa. If you're staying in US working, you're not traveling, you do not need to renew your visa. To renew your visa, you have to leave the country and go to your home country. You cannot renew your visa in US. You do not need to renew your visa to work in US. But when you do, you have to leave the country, you get your visa stamped, then you re-enter. Again, you do not need visa to work. You need DS 2019 to work.
Okay, so here's a question. Muhammad Asjad Abbas, can you unmute yourself and ask your question? Muhammad Asjad Abbas, you can unmute yourself.
Hello. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I think my question was answered by Dr. Fateh. It was regarding the F4 petition.
Okay.
And I aged out. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. So here's someone who's saying, Zaimi Mansoor, can I book an appointment using DS 160 while awaiting to receive approval for J1 and DS 219?
No, you can't even submit your DS 160 because that will require your DS 2019 information, which will be CV's ID, which will be written on DS 2019. So you can't book appointment.
Okay. So here's a question from Dr. Arsala Aram. Is it essential to get an NPI before arriving in US, or can I get it later once I reach there?
Yeah, NPI is not required for visa. It's not required for you to enter the USA. It's actually a billing thing that your hospital require when you start seeing patients. So that can be obtained later.
Okay, so here's someone else asking, I want to change my status from F2 to J1. Should I go with premium processing over here? My program sent me a letter for supporting my change application. Should I proceed with that or wait for DS 2019?
Yeah, you will need to have DS 2019 from ECFMG before you can apply for change in category. You can do change in category as long as you've been issued DS 2019 while you're in US. If not, then you will have to go back to your home country. It's simple. You need to have a sponsor for J1, which is ECFMG, issuing a documentation of sponsorship, which is DS 2019. For change in category as well as getting a visa stamp. So for both, you need DS 2019.
Okay,
now,
so here's
another part of the question was premium processing. Yes, it used not to be premium processing for J1, but now there is premium processing for J1 change in category. If you do not choose that, it might take 3 to 4 months to do change in category, which will be too late. So you have no choice but to pick a premium processing, which is additional $2,804 cost. And if you choose that, then your premium processing decision will be, or the change in category decision will be within 14 days. Does not mean it will be approved. Your decision will come in 14 days.
Okay, so Amar, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you so much again, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to ask question. My question is, during the visa interview, if the officer says that you have matched into prelim internal medicine, will you come back after 1 year, or what are your plans? Should I say that yes, I will come back after 1 year and get my visa stamped again if I match for the advanced position, or what do you suggest is the best way to answer this? Thank you.
Okay, so preliminary, you can simply say that I will apply in the next match, or I will try to find a PGY2 position while I'm in US. They usually do not ask whether you're going to come back for visa renewal. But if you cannot find a job for PGY2 position or any other position after completing 1 year, then you should say, if I cannot find a PGY2 position, then I will return to my home country. For visa, as I said earlier, if you get DS 2019 as a PGY2, you don't have to come back for visa stamping. You continue work even in a different hospital, different program. As long as you have DS 2019 with his authorization to work, you will be allowed to work. So if you get a job, PGY2, you don't have to come back. But if you don't get, then you simply say that if after completion of my first year, I will return to my homeland, which is Pakistan.
Okay, so just a follow-up question. During in my DS-160, I will mention 1 year at this point because I have matched only for a 1 year position.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. For other who match, you can mention 3 year, or even if you plan to do fellowship, you can mention 7 year. Even your contract is for 1 year, even your visa is going to be 1 year, you can mention 3 year or 7 years duration of stay. But those preliminary position, because it is only 1 year position, you can mention only 1 year. You should mention 1 year.
Okay, so let's go to the next person. Mohammed Shah Wali, I'm unmuting you. Please go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Qureshi and Dr. Shahzad. Big fan of you, Dr. Shahzad. I have 2 questions. And the first question is, it might be very complicated. The question is on J1 application. I am required to have a passport that has the validity after 6 months of the expiry date of the contract, right? My passport is expiring on May 2027 and the contract is expiring in June 2027. Should I initiate my J1 application with the current passport which I have while applying for renewal of passport, and after that I can update my passport? Is it all right?
Yes, it's all right. You can start your process, your DS 2019 process, as well as DS 160 with the old passport number. Once you have a new passport, you take both passport with you. They will stamp your visa and update information, as you cannot edit your DS 160. Once you submit, you can't change your passport number. And if you do resubmit DS 160 after making any change, the whole process starts again. You have to get a new appointment. You have to have a new DS 160 confirmation page. You have to have a new visa appointment letter. That because the number will not match. So do not do edit yourself. Take the both passport with you. Take the new passport information with you. The officer will make edits. But if you want to do, then you will have to do again. You will have to even get a new visa appointment once you resubmit your DS-160. So to brief it, you can use your old passport information. You can take both passport with you. They will stamp on new passport. But even if they stamp visa on old passport or expired passport, it's still okay as long as you have both passports with you. If you edit any information after submitting your DS-160, that means you have to resubmit DS-160. Then you will have to get a new interview appointment. Otherwise, when you go there, your number will not match. Your DS-160 confirmation, your visa